Thank you so much, guys, and welcome to another episode of Chevalier, where we talk about building stronger relationships for men and women who are seeking love. Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, Australian, African, Hispanic, forgive me, Hispanic community for forgetting you guys. You guys are obviously a vast value importance to the dating community. Some of the most beautiful women in the world are Latin and Hispanic. So much love to the Latin and Hispanic women. And even the people in Antarctica. Can't forget them, man. In North Pole too, they're freezing. But they still need love. That's why penguins have babies. Thank you all. Welcome back. I've been getting a lot of support for my videos. And like somebody was asking me at some point, hey man, why don't you monetize your videos? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that because I'm not doing this for money. I do this because I want to be a part of helping the process of men and women who are seeking relationships. And like I've always learned in life, if you want, stop complaining about the problem and be a part of the solution. And so hopefully these videos, even if I only help one person, will garner some value and meaning to creating an atmosphere where men and women can open up about dating, open up about relationships, open up about finding love and what it is they're looking for, so they don't feel that they're alone. Today I want to talk about something serious, and that's when to get out of a relationship. A lot of what I talk about is how to get in a relationship, but I don't speak much about when to get out of a relationship because it's a very serious and very strong issue. But I always tell my clients and people I work with that the best time to get out of any relationship is when you don't feel appreciated. Too often people get in relationships and not saying that they're going to be perfect, but there comes a time where they don't feel appreciated consistently. And this could be due to infidelity. You know, a man is with a woman, he finds out she's cheating, and instead of releasing himself from the relationship so he can say, hey, let me find someone that's going to appreciate me, or the young lady who goes out and meets a guy and he cheats and she says, oh, well, I'll forgive him. Unfortunately, more than not, it happens again. And unfortunately, it happens again to a point where people tend to don't appreciate the first time they got to come back. So they get settled, they get comfortable, and in their mind they say, oh man, I can do this again because they let me get away with it the first time. And then unfortunately, a lot of people who tend to cheat the first time, if not truly sincere about why they cheated and how they're not going to cheat the second time, unfortunately tend to do it again. It's a very bad situation because I've had some clients who were women who say, hey, my man cheated on me. I went out and took him back. And because of that, things were worse the second time around than they were the first time around. And it's almost like being caught, like as a police officer, like catching a criminal. And they say, man, I'm sorry for what I did. But are you really sorry? Because if you were sorry for what you did, you know, as a police officer, we wouldn't have to come get you. We wouldn't have to come investigate and find out that you did this crime. If you were sorry, you would have turned yourself in and say, hey, this is what happened. Let me explain my side of the story. Get a lawyer and work it out the best way you can. Less than not, in these situations where you're being cheated on, the person is not sorry that they cheated. They're sorry less than not because they got caught. And then it's time to try to make things right. What can I do to not lose you because I love you, because I care about you, because you mean a lot to me? Instead of saying, hey, you know what? I got caught. Let's talk about this if it can be talked about, and then kind of create a situation where we can build off of what caused me or whoever this person is to feel like they needed to cheat in the first place. Because sometimes people feel they need to cheat because they're looking for something they're not getting in this relationship. And this goes back to a video that I did a few weeks ago about why people cheat in the first place. And unfortunately, a lot of that video had to do with people not feeling appreciated at home. People not feeling appreciated in that current relationship. Whether it's a romantic thing, whether it's a love thing, whether it's a considerable, I just want to be appreciated sort of thing. A lot of people walk away from relationships into another person's arms because they feel like they're not being loved. So then what they do very often is they walk off with somebody else and they say, well, I can get what I need from them because I'm not getting it here. And so too often we get mad that they cheated. They did me wrong. But we don't try to understand why. Especially when you're one of those people who just tends to always be in abusive relationships. Who are always in relationships where somebody's cheating or somebody's wronging you or somebody's making you feel like you're not appreciated as much as you wish you would have felt. Too often there are these situations where we want the best for ourselves, but we're not thinking about the other person. And vice versa. And when you get in a relationship where you're not feeling appreciated, it causes things like abuse. It causes things like men who feel like they got to beat on women, or women who feel like they got to beat on men. Because these things are happening. These relationships where you feel like you got to put your hands on someone to make a point. And I'm talking about women too. Because we always only talk about the men, but there are women out here who abuse men and they being spotlighted enough. Because when I say abuse, I mean on both ends, for men and women. There are women out here who abuse men just as much as there are men out here who abuse women. And in the end, everybody suffers because no one knows when to walk away. No one knows when to say, hey, I know I did wrong, but I want to do better. Let's get some counseling. Let's get some therapy. Let's better ourselves so this situation doesn't come again. But most people don't do that. They continuously stay in the situation where they're allowing someone to abuse them, and to the point where either someone ends up going to prison, or in a lot of cases, unfortunately, someone's ended up losing their life. And it should never be to that point where someone loses their life or someone has to go to prison because no one knew when to walk away. I always tell people the answer to this question is simple. The first time somebody cheats, cut the relationship forever. The first time a man or a woman lays her hands on you, cut it, period. The first time somebody abuses you, never allow it to be a second time. Walk away, start over with someone that's going to appreciate you. Because 9 times out of 10, when someone abuses you and you don't walk away from it, it has been statistically proven that 9 times out of 10 it will happen again. And unfortunately, it's going to be escalated abuse. Harsher, meaner, more aggressive abuse. Abuse can't be tolerated in any form, verbal or physical. And we always only talk about physical abuse, but we never talk about verbal abuse. Because verbal abuse, in many aspects, can be worse than physical abuse. If you don't want to be with someone without cheating on them or having sex with another woman or another man, leave the relationship. If you can't deal with someone in a respectful manner without putting your hands on them, walk away from the relationship. Men, please get out of these relationships with women who just want you for money. And women, get out of these relationships with men who just want you for sex. If they don't want you for who you are as a human being, and they're not going to respect you, get up and leave and find someone that will. As always, this is a serious nature situation. I will branch this off next week into many aspects of abuse. But thank you so much for your time. Please be safe. Have a wonderful evening. Be blessed. Peace. Look on.